Required expertise for future high-tech recruitment. The project will require highly specialized talent across multiple cutting-edge domains. Key areas include advanced AI and machine learning, systems and OS architecture, cybersecurity and quantum-safe technologies, immersive interfaces, AR, VR, holography, cloud data infrastructure, and finance investment expertise. In each sector, we should identify specific subfields and roles. Below is a structured summary of the main expertise topics and fields to recruit, organized by sector: artificial intelligence and high-tech specializations, machine learning and AI, NLP, cognitive computing, experts in AI and ML, especially natural language processing and large language models, will be critical. These roles involve developing algorithms for language understanding, predictive modeling, memory awareness prediction loops, and human-machine interaction. AI/ML engineers and data scientists are among the most in-demand tech professionals. For example, AI and machine learning engineers are specifically sought to build chatbots, recommendation systems, and predictive AI across industries. Data science and analytics: skilled data scientists and engineers who can manage big data, build vector knowledge databases, and apply analytics frameworks, Python, TensorFlow, PyTorch, SQL, Hadoop, etc., are needed. As companies grapple with massive data, IDC projects 463 exabytes day by 2025, specialists who can extract insights and implement LLM-powered services are essential. Domain-specific languages and AI tooling: personnel who can design domain-specific languages, DSLs, or APIs for AI DevOps, such as GPT-style command interfaces, to allow natural language control of systems. This includes human-computer interaction experts embedding LLMs for conversational operations. See natural language API backed by an embedded language model. Blockchain, decentralized systems and fintech technology. While core emphasis is on the OS AI stack, we also need fintech and crypto specialists. Fintech firms demand AI, cybersecurity, data analytics, blockchain, and compliance skills. In practice, candidates with experience in blockchain architectures, decentralized finance, DeFi applications, and financial data modeling will be valuable for any future economic or currency components of the project. System architecture and engineering: operating system and systems architecture. Architects and developers skilled in multi-kernel and distributed OS design are essential. The project envisions a heterogeneous OS platform, e.g. EntangleOS, that spans Linux, BSD, RTOS, microkernels, etc. Specialists in OS integration, kernel development, and cross-kernel message passing will drive this. For example, an Atlas OS Kernel and Systems Council would require experts in cross-kernel abstraction and multi-kernel orchestration. Legacy projects like Microsoft's Barrelfish demonstrate these skills. Cloud and infrastructure engineering. Cloud architects, DevOps, and site reliability engineers familiar with large-scale deployments are needed. Roles include designing scalable, secure cloud clusters, Kubernetes, Terraform, GCP, Azure, AWS expertise, building automated provisioning and performance benchmarking at scale. DevOps specialists, CI/CD, automation, ensure the hybrid cloud edge backbone runs smoothly. Hardware and edge design, engineers with hardware expertise, ASICs, IoT sensors, neuromorphic chips, photonics, are needed to support specialized modules. For example, neuromorphic computing specialists, e.g. IBM Loihi or Intel Loihi 2 experience, and embedded systems engineers for sensors and low-power AI at the edge. Knowledge of 6G and satellite comms, Ericsson, Nokia projects is also relevant for future connectivity. System architecture, solution, enterprise. Architectural design talent, system and solution architects will oversee how components fit together. These are high-level designers who can define the overall system blueprint, software, hardware, POS layers. Given the emphasis on a cognitive OS, recruiting experienced software, hardware architects with backgrounds in enterprise or cloud architecture, systems engineering, or platform architecture is critical to guide the project's complex design. Cybersecurity, privacy, and quantum technologies, post-quantum and cryptographic security. Experts in quantum-resistant cryptography are required. the system must be secure against future quantum attacks. So, specialists in lattice-based cryptography, quantum key distribution, QKD, and agile crypto frameworks are essential. This includes cryptographers, security architects, and hardware security engineers who can embed QKD and fault-tolerant crypto into the network fabric. Cybersecurity, ethical hacking, security analysts and engineers skilled in threat modeling, penetration testing, and continuous monitoring are needed. The emphasis on AI-driven workflows and national-scale governance means that security, both software and hardware layers, is paramount. The WEF and industry reports highlight cybersecurity as a non-negotiable investment, and great demand for ethical hackers, defense specialists. Roles include developing intrusion detection, AI plus quantum-aware approaches, secure DevOps and compliance engineering, trust, privacy and governance. Roles focusing on ethics, privacy laws, and regulatory compliance will also be crucial. As the consortium model suggests, an ethics and governance council would need experts in legal regulatory frameworks, data privacy, GDPR, CCPA, and explainable AI to align the technology with societal norms. Immersive interfaces and spatial computing, AR, VR, holographic development. Software and graphics engineers who create 3D holographic environments are key. This includes Unity, Chopper AR, Unreal. Developers, 3D modeling and UX designers, and experts in WebXR or specialized headsets, HoloLens, Vision Pro. These specialists will build the mixed reality holographic assistant interfaces envisioned by the project. For example, AR, VR, and metaverse developer roles focus on building 3D simulations and user experiences. Volumetric capture and rendering. Talent in high-resolution volumetric video, e.g. NARF, 3D capture, and real-time rendering is needed. Engineers or researchers with backgrounds in computer vision, graphics optimization, and 3D scanning, VoluCap, Luma AI, NVIDIA projects, will enable the content pipeline for holograms. This aligns with the need for volumetric capture technologies and photorealistic rendering mentioned in the technology map. Spatial audio and interaction. Though less frequently cited, expertise in spatial audio, gesture voice interfaces, and human-computer interaction will complement the immersive stack. Specialists in NLP-driven avatars and gesture recognition can make the holographic assistant feel natural, as hinted by embedded LLMs for tutoring. Cloud, data infrastructure, and DevOps. Cloud computing and DevOps. In-demand roles include cloud architects and DevOps engineers. These people ensure the Atlas OS deployment scales from pilot to global, e.g. planning 500-node cloud clusters. Skills include container orchestration, Kubernetes, performance optimization, and continuous integration pipelines, data engineering and database systems, as the system will rely on large state stores, memory modules, vector databases like Pinecone, FAAIISS. We need data engineers and database architects, expertise in building scalable storage, SQL, NoSQL, vector DBs, and data pipelines is critical for logging, knowledge retrieval, and AI training. Edge computing and IoT. Engineers for IoT integration will connect on-site sensors or devices. For example, the IoT solutions architect role mentioned in demand covers embedded C++, AWS IoT, Azure IoT Hub, and secure data flow between devices and cloud. Recruiting such architects ensures that any hardware components, e.g. sensors, edge nodes, can communicate with the cloud seamlessly. Finance, economic, and investment expertise, fintech, and economic modeling. Financial experts with knowledge of digital economy are needed. This includes personnel who understand how technologies like AI, ML, blockchain, and data analytics apply in finance. Specifically, skills in fraud detection algorithms, risk modeling, algorithmic trading, and digital currencies will help align the project's economic vision. Experts in sustainable finance and green computing, energy-efficient infrastructures, may also be relevant given trends in green tech and sustainable IT. Investment and venture capital. To secure funding and manage investments, the team needs people familiar with venture finance, venture capital, and global investor networks. This includes VC associates, angel investors, and corporate development managers who understand tech valuations, fundraising processes, and investor relations. The ability to pitch to international funds and navigate cross-border regulations will be valuable, especially as companies increasingly recruit and invest globally. Financial compliance and regulation. Financial experts with experience in regulatory technology, RegTech, and compliance are crucial. As fintech growth is often tied to regulations, GDPR, PSD2, open banking, hiring compliance specialists or financial lawyers ensures the project adheres to legal standards. These roles bridge technology and law, ensuring any new financial mechanisms are compliant. Global and cross-disciplinary integration, international talent and collaboration. The project will benefit from tapping global expertise. Tech hubs around the world, Silicon Valley, Shenzhen, Tel Aviv, Bangalore, etc., produce specialists in AI, cloud, and security, and international recruiting can access scarce talent. Creating a cross-disciplinary consortium, mirroring examples like 3GPP or the Linux Foundation, requires people skilled in multinational project management, open-source governance, and consortium building, interdisciplinary project managers. Finally, program managers and technical leads who can coordinate across these domains are needed. They should understand multiple sectors, tech, finance, policy, and be able to translate between AI researchers, system architects, legal advisors, and investors. This glue ensures that highly specialized teams work coherently toward the project's vision, much like the recommended cross-disciplinary team combining quantum, OS, and AI experts. Each of these fields will form part of the recruitment roadmap. In summary, the elite talent pool will span AI, ML, and NLP researchers, system and cloud architects, OS kernel developers, security cryptography experts, AR/VR engineers, data scientists, IoT hardware engineers, fintech specialists, and finance investment professionals. Together, they will build the cognitive operating system and support infrastructure needed for the project's future goals. Sources: industry reports on 2025 technology roles and trends, and the Atlas OS project materials highlighting required expertise in AI, OS design, quantum security, and holographic interfaces. The Atlas OS, a tight, professional recruitment brief plus outreach copy you can use for hiring and investor outreach. Below you'll find 1. A short executive summary, so a recruiter or headhunter can get context fast. 2. A recruiting matrix by domain, the specific high-skill roles you must hire, why each role is required, directly tied to Atlas Entangle OS design, and the best source pools, labs, companies, regions, to target. Each domain ends with the investor partner types to approach. I cite the uploaded file where it directly supports the need. Claims. Fakbur Arj Executive Summary, 1 paragraph. Project Atlas, Entangle OS plus Construction Arc plus Atlassian Coin, is building a cognitive multi-kernel operating system with temporal cognition, memory, awareness, prediction, holographic UX, quantum-inspired security, and a knowledge-backed crypto economy for institutional deployment, hospitals, central banks, government. This requires elite cross-disciplinary hires, OS and virtualization architects, temporal graph memory AI researchers, quantum post-quantum security engineers, tokenomics and DeFi architects, and systems integrators who can deploy at sovereign enterprise scale. The platform's unique needs, heterogeneous kernels, W-state temporal orchestration, secure state bus, holographic rendering, knowledge valuation, are documented in the Atlas files and drive the role map below. Recruiting matrix, domains, precise roles, why each role matters, and where to recruit. Format, role, short responsibilities, why Atlas needs it, link to design, best talent pools, institutions, partner types, why each one, quantum AI and temporal cognition, core cognitive stack, temporal cognition researcher, quantum cognition scientist, build formal models for memory, awareness prediction entanglement, simulate W-state coherence across services. Why? Atlas's cognitive layer depends on time-entangled modules and temporal state coherence, memory, awareness, prediction. You need specialists who can design and validate that math algorithms. Recruit from DeepMind, Google Research, IBM Research, top ML groups, Oxford, MIT, ETH, Zurich, academic temporal AI labs, contextual memory graph architect, graph databases, plus embeddings, plus retrieval, Design graph-based memory, beyond flat vectors, with long horizon recall, context linking, provenance tagging. Why? EntangleOS needs persistent, explainable recall across sessions and modules for predictive behavior and accountability. Recruit from VectorDB vendors, Pinecone, Vespa contributors, academic IR/JAR Graph ML labs, enterprise search teams, Elastic, Databricks, AI linguist, OnSurs, OnCIR, semantic modeling lead, NLP, NLU specialist, schema design for embedded LLMs, ontology and DSL for AIOps, robust semantic parsers and slot filling for system-level commands. Why? Atlas exposes natural language APIs and DSLs for ops. You need specialists that turn admin intent into safe, low-level actions. Recruit from OpenAI alumni, academic NLP labs, Stanford, CMU, Helsinki, industry teams building conversational assistants. Explainable AI engineer, build modules that produce audit-grade explanations and provenance for predictions, CHAOSS decisions. Why? Enterprise government adoption requires interpretable decisions and audit trails. Recruit from Microsoft Responsible AI, Fiddler Labs, academic XAI groups, holographic UX, spatial interaction researcher, Joint AI plus HCI, create adaptive avatar persona, multimodal mapping, voice, gesture, gaze, and emotional response systems. Why? Atlas aims for holographic assistants and spatial UIs for high-value users, executives, clinicians. Recruit from Unity, Unreal Studios, Looking Glass, University XR Labs, high-quality AR, VR studios, investor partner targets for domain, AI research grants, national science funds, cloud credits, GCP, AWS research programs, strategic partnerships with DeepMind, IBM, ETH Labs, Gensquernberts 2, cross-kernel, systems and OS engineering, core platform, multi-kernel OS architect quam architectquan, multi-con, meta-kernel engineer. Design a thin unified kernel abstraction layer to unify Windows, Linux, BSD, RTOS, microkernel nodes. Why? Atlas runs heterogeneous kernels to get fault isolation and cognitive modularity. No single vendor supports this out of the box. A meta-kernel abstraction is central. Recruit from Microsoft Research, Barrelfish, ETH Zurich OS groups, kernel teams at Intel Red Hat, heterogeneous virtualization and micro-hypervisor engineer, Jailhouse, Zen, KVM experts, build the isolation fabric, lightweight bare metal orchestration and kernel bridges. Why? Performance and safety depend on low overhead cross-OS messaging and micro-VM isolation. Recruit from VMware, Red Hat, Linux kernel contributors, embedded RTOS vendors, predictive resource orchestration, our scheduler engineer, AI-driven scheduler that forecasts demand and rebalances CPU, GPU, I/O preemptively. Why? For latency-sensitive holography and large model training, existing schedulers are reactive. Recruit from Kubernetes, Google Borg alumni, Slurm HPC teams, PerfKit, benchmarks and TCO engineer, build benchmark suites, SpexInt, TFLops, and TCO models for scaling decisions. Why? Atlas must prove perf.ln for enterprise buyers and pilot deployments. Recruit from cloud benchmarking teams, HPC vendors, consulting groups, investor partner targets for domain, cloud providers for committed use credits, GCP, Azure, AWS, hardware partners, NVIDIA, HPE, HPC early adopters, Shaffer SOT 3, quantum and post-quantum security, trust and resilience, post-quantum cryptography engineer, PQC stacks, implement NIST PQC candidates, lattice-based schemes, and post-quantum key management. Why? EntangleOS must be PQC ready and simulate quantum-style state buses without requiring quantum HW. Recruit from PQShield, academic crypto groups, IBM Chew Google quantum security teams, quantum key distribution, QKD, protocol specialist, Chew quantum-inspired crypto research, prototype QKD like low-latency protocols for inter-module communication. Why? Atlas's state bus security concept aims to mimic entanglement for resilience and confidentiality. Recruit from ID Quantique, Sandbox AQ, National Quantum Labs, kernel-level security and hardening specialist, kernel exploit mitigation, secure enclaves, penetration testing at kernel level. Why? Multi-kernel environments widen attack surface, need hardened kernels with auditability and tamper-resistant logging. Recruit from DARPA security teams, Core OS security groups, NIST collaborators, investor partner targets for domain, cybersecurity VCs, government R&D grants, companies providing PQC tool chains. 4. Blockchain, tokenomics, Atlassian coin, crypto economic layer, tokenomics strategist and monetary design economist, design supply, staking reward mechanisms, knowledge-backed valuation model, inflation, deflation, controls. Why? Atlassian coin must be credible to institutions, banks, hospitals, and tied to knowledge production due value. Token design must align with sovereign integration risk. Recruit from token economics researchers, central bank digital currency, CBDC teams, academic monetary economists, smart contract and cross-chain protocol lead, secure auditable contracts, bridging to L1, L2 and permission chains for institutional use. Firm. Why? Construction ARC and institutional deployments will need permissioned Rails, plus DeFi components for settlements. Recruit from Hyperledger contributors, Ethereum enterprise teams, Chainlink CHA, Polkadot engineers, knowledge valuation analyst, intangible asset pricing, build valuation frameworks that convert knowledge production into tokenized claims or utility units. Why? Atlassian Coin's USP is backing value with knowledge output. This were Syken Sagin Nas, Thomin Tumpers, Termix, Arikronauts and rigorous valuation models and auditability. Recruit from fintech quant teams, academic econ labs, valuation consultancies, crypto compliance and legal advisor, international securities, AML, KYC, MyCA, SEC, CBDC compliance, institutional custody design. Why? Institutional uptake demands compliant rails and legal clarity for token-backed instruments. Recruit from crypto-native legal firms, Big Four regulatory practices, in-house CBDC advisors, investor partner targets for domain, Crypto Valley, Zug ecosystem, institutional crypto VCs, sovereign wealth custody partners, payment rails companies. NAR Partisot 5, institutional finance, macro and deployment construction arc, central banking macroeconomic integration strategist, design interfaces and policy models so central banks or sovereign TCs can interact with Atlassian coin, including reserve, shopping, botting, backing policies. Why? For construction arc to deploy at national scale, Atlas must integrate with monetary policy and treasury systems. Recruit from former central bank architects, IMF World Bank policy experts, St. Gallen EPFL finance labs, treasury and institutional finance systems integrator, build bridges between ERP, SWIFT, CBDC rails, custody solutions. Why? Institutional deployments, hospitals, ministries, require deterministic settlement and reconciliation workflows. Recruit from large banks fintech teams, enterprise treasury software vendors, healthcare IT clinical integration lead, ensure Atlas OS HIPAA GDPR compliance, clinical workflows, medical device integration. Why? Construction arc targets hospitals, needs someone who can map OS capabilities into clinical RO workflows and certifications. Recruit from hospital IT leads, Cerner, Epic consultants, medical device integrators, public sector systems and government integrator, handle procurement, certification, defense, critical infrastructure compliance. Why? Government rollouts require procurement experience, security clearances, and compliance frameworks. Recruit from defense contracting PMs, government CIO offices, major integrators, Accenture Gov, CGI, investor partner targets for domain, sovereign funds, development banks, impact investors, health education, strategic government R&D programs. Woodurkwover Sp. 6, creative, holography and narrative, differentiation and adoption. Holography, on volumetric content pipeline lead, implement real-time NERF, volumetric capture pipelines, and developer SDKs for avatars. Why? Atlas requires scalable volumetric content and real-time rendering for holographic assistance. Recruit from Luma AI, VoluCap, ND project teams, Studio Chalk real-time render houses, music technologist, affective audio designer, integrate emotional audio and adaptive music for UX to improve trust and engagement. Why? To build empathetic holograms and reduce uncanny valley friction. Sir Stuartji Aligurdai. Recruit from Interactive Audio Studios, Audio ML Startups, Strategic Partnerships and Diplomatic Lead, build WEF industry partnerships, manage pilot partners, and design consortium governance models. Fwybo by Entangle OS benefits from an umbrella consortium model to de-risk cross-industry integration. Recruit from Linux Foundation, Kubernetes Foundation alumni, WEF liaisons, senior BD at Research Labs. Executive producer by Narrative Director. Drive brand, demos, flagship pilots, and public storytelling for trust and adoption. Why? High-impact demos are required to get enterprise pilots and public legitimacy. Recruit from top tech documentary or experiential studios, enterprise product marketing leads, investor partner targets for domain, strategic content partners, VoluCap, Luma AI, enterprise pilot sponsors, creative grants and cultural foundations that fund public demonstrations, geographic institutional recruitment map, quick academic and research hubs, ETH Zurich, EPFL, MIT, Stanford, DeepMind, Google Research Labs, IBM Research, crypto and token engineering, Crypto Valley, Zug, Ethereum, enterprise community, Hyperledger contributors, holography and volumetric capture, VoluCap, Luma AI, Looking Glass, Fraunhofer Labs, cloud, HPC partners, GCP, NVIDIA, AWS Breakit, HPC teams, for Cloud Plus GPU, TPU credits. Investors and financing fields to approach, buy role, deep tech VCs, quantum, AI, systems, for R&D and hardware, crypto-native funds and DAOs, for token model early seeding and community builders, sovereign wealth and national R&D programs, for construction, ARC, infrastructure pilots, impact, health funds and philanthropic R&D grants, for hospital pilots and public good features, strategic corporate partners, cloud providers, big tech labs for technical partnership and credits. Hiring announcement and outreach, 2 copy lengths you can paste to LinkedIn and email. Short LinkedIn DM for direct outreach. Hi, name like I'm building Project Atlas, Entangle OS plus Construction Arc plus Atlassian Coin. A cognitive OS that fuses temporal AI, multi-kernel architecture, quantum-inspired security, and a knowledge-backed token. We're hiring senior role, e.g. multi-kernel OS architect, temporal cognition researcher, to design the core architecture and lead pilot deployments. This is an elite cross-disciplinary charter, institutional pilots, sovereign integration, holographic UX. Interested in a quick call to explore. Aaron, Project Atlas, longer LinkedIn, email outreach, public announcement. Subject, build the future, lead the architecture of Project Atlas, Entangle OS plus Construction Arc plus Atlassian Coin. Hello, we're assembling a founding team for Project Atlas, an ambitious platform that combines a temporal multi-kernel operating system, Entangle OS, institutional infrastructure deployment, Construction Arc, and a knowledge-backed currency, Atlassian Coin. We're looking for senior hires in the following areas: quantum and temporal cognition, temporal AI, graph memory, explainability. Systems and OS engineering, multi-kernel abstraction, micro-hypervisors, predictive schedulers, quantum, post-quantum security, PQC, QKD-inspired protocols, kernel hardening, tokenomics and blockchain, knowledge valuation, institutional-grade smart contracts. Institutional integration, central bank treasury integration, hospital IT rollouts, holographic UX and content, volumetric capture, avatar systems, multimodal interfaces. Why this project matters: Entangle OS is more than an assistant. It's a new class of OS that remembers, understands time, and interacts in spatial, holographic form while preserving enterprise-grade security and institutional auditability. We're building pilots for hospitals, research labs, and sovereign infrastructure, and will fund early team members with a mix of salary, equity, and Atlassian coin profit sharing. If you lead or know outstanding candidates, senior ICs, research leads, or engineering heads in any of the listed areas, reply with a short note about expertise and availability. We'll follow up with role briefs and compensation packages. Aaron, Project Atlas, contact email. One-line link to project brief. Short roadmap to hiring phases. Practical. 1. Phase 0. Core R&D hires. First 6 months. Temporal cognition lead, multi-kernel OS architect, PQC engineer, tokenomics lead, holography lead. These 5 set the technical architecture. 2. Phase 1. Pilot integration. 6 to 18 months. Perf TCO engineer, cloud hardware partner managers, hospital IT lead, legal compliance. 3. Phase 2. Commercialization and scale. 18-36 months. Partnerships, product, community, ecosystem lead, growth and enterprise sales, investor relations. Jabrabai, quick, defensible one-page why these roles for your video script. Multi-kernel OS architect, because heterogeneous kernels are core to entangled cognition and fault isolation. Temporal cognition researcher, because Atlas depends on non-local time states, memory, awareness, prediction, to be predictive and continuously adaptive. PQC QKD engineer, because state bus security must be quantum resilient for institutional trust. Tokenomics economist, because Atlassian coin must have a defensible audit-grade link between knowledge production and monetary value. Holographic UX lead, because adoption depends on a low-friction, high-trust spatial interface for high-value users. Create a recruitment video in English.